Hello, this is the Zion Zeus, and due to the fact that one of the things I do in my daily life is I do a lot of technical consulting and website designs and displays and so on and so forth. And I always get asked the question, how do you actually go about setting up a website and getting a website up off the ground? So I thought I'd put together just a quick mini tutorial, and one of the companies that I highly recommend if you're going to get a website up off the ground is HostGator. They're basically the number one hosting company in the world. They have been in the business a long time. The server access and so on is great. So the kind of tutorial that I put together here is based upon their plans and what they do and what you get if you sign up with HostGator. And as dealing with many hosting companies over the last 10 years with my technical IT background, as I said, I found HostGator to be one of the best. So let's begin. I'm just going to read this off, and I may make this available to folks. So, starting a website for beginners. It seems like everyone either has or wants a website. For the latter group, those who don't have a website, it might seem like a daunting task to have a website, and in reality, starting a website can be very simple. And as I always tell everybody, it's just three main things that you need. You need a domain name, web hosting, and the website code and design. They're the three main things that you need. Everything else then you add on as you want your website design to go along. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at each one of them. So what is a domain name? Well, a domain name is usually .com, .net or .org address that visitors use to view your website on the web. And obviously the most popular is a TLD, which is top level domain, and that's a .com extension. And they're usually sold annually. When you register a domain name, you have it for 1 year with the first option to renew it unless you purchase multiple years up front when starting a website. So I usually always recommend at least get 2 years, purchase it for 2 years, the domain name if you can. If not, do a year and just make sure you don't let it run out. Web hosting. Well, what is web hosting? After you get your domain name, you're gonna have to have a place to put your domain name and your website, and that's where web hosting comes in. And I found that HostGator have great plans, shared hosting plans. It's not that very inexpensive per month to get up and running with a hosting company, and they have a really great setup there. So the only thing you got to look at is your design. An exception to this would be if you need custom software packages such as live video streaming that aren't offered in a shared hosting environment. In this case, VPS or a dedicated server might be the better option. But if you're just getting a website up off the ground, I wouldn't really go for the dedicated server and the VPS just to get you up. Your domain name then gets pointed to your hosting account by changing the name servers for that domain name. Once that's been updated, anyone going to your domain name will be viewing the website hosted at your web hosting provider. And web hosting providers like HostGator, they also provide a control panel, and we'll look at a little bit at that in a little bit. So next thing is the design. And nowadays there's many ways to make a website. A website is usually a file that's encoded with HTML and contains image and video elements. It's possible to create a website using just a text editor like Notepad. A lot of the sites I write are usually in Notepad, but I also use TextPad. Is my favorite coding, HTML coding that I like to write the sites in that I do. And it's usually best software geared for web development. You can download a lot of free software out there now, such as Composer or HostGator itself. As you go into the control panel, has what's called Site Builder, so you can definitely use them. Programming languages like PHP, Ruby, Python, Perl, and ASP.NET can also be used to create dynamic websites. And fortunately, there are many different open source and free web-based software applications based around these languages. And I always recommend WordPress. It's a great open source language and content builder. So you also have Drupal, to name a few, but as I said in this, I highly recommend WordPress. It's a very quick install for HostGator. So and of course, if you choose not to use the hosted site builder with HostGator, you can create and edit your own site, and you can FTP it after you build it locally. So I'm just going to look at quick a little bit how to make a website. Well, a lot of people today get very overwhelmed when they think about starting a website, and most people do choose the option to pay a web designer to create the website, to do all the steps basically that I just outlined. And there are some people that want to go through the steps and kind of get it up themselves. So you can definitely make a website if you get your domain name, get your hosting server, and use the site builder that HostGator, who I recommend, provides for free. You can have a website up pretty quickly. There is a lot of different other more embedded steps to get you up and running, depending on the level that you want your site up with. But site building with HostGator is a wizard. You go through all the steps, go pick out your template, pick out your add-ins, your content, all that stuff, and then it'll put it up there for you. The pros, it's quick and easy, no technical knowledge required, and it's great to get started with. The cons, it can be limited design options, not able to customize, and advanced features and space. So perhaps paying a designer could be an option. Website templates, I know HostGator provides over 4,450 free website templates and designs, so you could find something that could be in there. And after you get up and running, you just publish it and so on. Once you find a template that you like, you can download the template and edit it fully customizable. After you edit the template using the HTML or text editor, you can then upload the template through FTP to your HostGator account to publish your web pages. So that's something to think about. Pros, tons of templates in many different categories with the ability to customize. Cons, may require tweaking to get the template to look the way you want, and that can be very taxing at times to actually get that template. Some folks, want that, where other people want to get a little bit more flow on their site. So it really depends on your preference. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, site builders, and this is very true. What you see is what you get. Editor is a web authoring program that can create a website for you, similar to creating a document in Microsoft Word. Well, the de facto standard is Adobe's Dreamweaver. You don't need to pay hundreds of dollars to get started. There are free and open source alternatives such as Mozilla's and Compuser, good open source, so there's something to think about there. You can make a website with Compuser through inserting elements such as images, tables, paragraphs, headers, etc., without having to mess with any HTML code. So that their plugins, can you stick everything in there coded. Should you feel inclined, however, you can easily edit the code as well. If you don't want to start from scratch, you can get templates online, and again, you just put in probably Google free website templates, and you can pull them down and then open them with Compuser to tweak and look the way you want the layout. So that's a way you could do that. You could use Compuser to tweak the layout you want for that template. Pros, free and easy to get started, no HTML needed. Cons, may take time to learn the advanced features of the software, either Dreamweaver or Compuser. So Dreamweaver, you have to pay. It's a very great program, Dreamweaver, and Compuser is free. It's two options I thought I'd throw in there. CMS, content management system. I recommend WordPress. WordPress is fantastic. Using a CME or CMS for your website is a great option if you intend to constantly add content or need advanced features. And the major CMSs is definitely WordPress. It's also a blogging platforms, so that's something to think about as well. I'm not gonna talk. I'll just do pals, not bad, but I highly recommend WordPress, to be honest. The most popular option on HostGator is definitely WordPress, and the reason I'm using HostGator for this tutorial is because you can quickly add WordPress to your hosting plan, and just add it in there. It's free, so you just upload it. It's great, and it can be installed with just a click through HostGator's quick install feature, and I've tested this out many times. It works really well, and it's very easy to install. I'll leave the links in here, so if I make this tutorial available. Pros: highly customizable, easy to install and get started, easy to add new content and update pages, and keeps things organized. The cons: since CMS is pre-built, it may require adding PHP, HTML, CSS code. If out of the box options don't work for your website, should be fine though in most cases. So from scratch, creating a website from scratch used to be the only way to do it. Now there are tons of tools and scripts to help us, to help you out there. If you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, this option might appeal to you to get started on this path. I highly recommend, if you're really interested in this, going to W3 Schools. Absolutely fantastic content out there. They cover HTML, CSS, and PHP. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's the code behind most websites. Your website browser reads this code and renders it into a document which becomes a viewable web page. CSS, or cascading style sheets, is a way to define the look and design of different elements of your website. It gives your site its own unique style. And PHP or other site scripting languages can add advanced functionality to your site, like creating contact forms and interacting with a database to store and retrieve information. So that's what PHP is really for. Pros: complete control over the look and feel of your web pages. That's if you design it from the ground up. Cons: learning curve for beginners to get up to speed. So that's the pros, is that you have full control. The cons is that it does take a lot of studying, kind of getting into the subject of programming and see how everything go together, the coding. So that would be the con of that. Website images, banners, and logos. Many professionals use Adobe's Creative Suite, Illustrator, and Photoshop. And Photoshop is good for touching with photos and creating banners and logos. Illustrator is a vector-based image creator that's really good for creating logos. They're free. They're not free, but there are free and very good alternatives to easily make images for your website, such as GIMP, Photoshop alternative, and Inkscape Illustrator alternative. So in summary, I would say most of HostGator's, all the clients that all the folks that I help to get websites up, I always recommend WordPress for the websites. Once you install WordPress, you probably want to install a theme that you like, add some plugins that you'll need, and you're good to go. It doesn't require any advanced knowledge. It's easy to install, and you can learn and tweak it further. With any method you choose for making a website, it's probably a good idea to learn some HTML and CSS. So that's really what I'd recommend there. Go find some tutorials online, read them. Hit up W3 Schools. They have a lot of great tutorials there on HTML and CSS. And then as you go along, you get further and further into programming. And I love programming, to be honest. I love creating websites and all that kind of stuff. WordPress, fantastic. So if you require to go this route with WordPress, then it's recommended to download the following software. FTP client like FileZilla for uploading any images, and it's free. And image editors like GIMP and Inkscape, both are free. They're the kind of three recommendations. I definitely: WordPress, FileZilla, GIMP, and Inkscape, and you have everything free to kind of get your site up and running. So there's a lot of options there. You can shoot me an email, zionzeus@yourdivineroots.com, if you've got any questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them technically. So have a good night, and I'll talk to everybody soon.